Hi guys, welcome back again to another video. Today we are looking at our succulent soil mix again because in the last two episodes I had a succulent soil mix kick. So I thought why not repot our plants because it's spring season now here in Melbourne, Australia, and I've looked around in our nursery, or not nursery, our garden. Because we have a new succulent soil mix with pommies, I will repot them. But before we do that, we received a lot of inquiries and messages asking for the draining characteristics of the pommy succulent soil mix that we had. And because from the last episode we didn't do any experiment compared to the crushed terracotta pot soil mix, so before we do the repotting, let's do a little experiment again for the pommy succulent soil mix against our base succulent soil mix. So here we go. I have here the two succulent soil mix. The first one is the pommy's succulent soil mix, and the second one here is our base succulent soil mix, which is just composed of a regular potting mix, some sand and some perlite. And this one has the mixture of pommies with a percentage that we've discussed in the past episodes. If you haven't seen that episode, I'll tag the episodes in this video. So guys, you will see two hands again for Leslie. Wanna say hi?
Hi.
So she'll pour the water, and then we'll see how much or which water drains quickly. So guys, Leslie will now pour the water. 1, 2, go. If you see guys, the pooling water pool first on top of the base, but you see that the pommy soil mix really drained quickly. And actually the water is almost equally distributed on the pommy soil mix compared to the base soil mix, where some are still dry. But here it's almost like there's water everywhere. So most likely the distribution of water is better with the pommy soil mix compared to the base soil mix. So there's the experiment. And again, we proved that this pommy succulent soil mix drains faster than our base succulent soil mix. Here you go guys. So this is our first pot for today. This succulent is called Jessop, or some of the nurseries or growers are calling it Captain Jessop. And that is because that guy, or that dude, did a cross of two Pachyphytum, which I can't pronounce the name, so I will put them here. Looking at the photos, you can see from this plant that it maintained the long leaves with this color, and the other one has the characteristic of a rounded, chubby leaves. These are cold temperature growers, so we just had the last two seasons, so you can see growth on the leaves. Now it's not really obvious from here, or maybe from here you can see that when it was still growing, you can see growth here, and then when there's a hot season, there's not much growth, and then on the colder season it's grow again. I think one of the best example to show that is one of our Pachyphytum here. In our garden we don't have a nursery, so we can't maintain the growing conditions of this plant. So if you notice, it has the growing pattern here, and then you have the warmer months season, which you see there's not much, and then in the last couple of months we have the colder months again, and you can see the growing season. So you see that in the growth pattern of this plant. This guy here is not so fussy with the soil, so This has been growing here for about what, a year and a half now, and look, it's still very healthy. And I think that's generally the characteristics of Pachyphytum. It doesn't really have to be a super well draining soil. A good draining soil is good enough. So for this plant, we will put it on a 11 centimeter terracotta pot. So I think this just sits nice here. All right, let's repot. Look how root bound the plant is, because it's been sitting here for so long. This will surely give it a good relief for this plant. So here's our Pachyphytum captain Jessop, or Jessop, in its new home. So I hope he'll be happy here. I'm gonna call him what? Captain?
Captain.
Captain. Yes, there you go, Captain. Our next pot is this guy called Echeveria agavoides Sirius. Now seriously, I can't find anything about this guy. It is an agavoides variety, so it would potentially have the same care of the agavoides, which means they don't really want overwatering. They need sun, but they can't survive in very harsh conditions like very hot or very cold. And look at the colors, they come out in cold months, or they will come out in very stressed conditions. And because it's springtime, they start to flower. And I got 2 of these. And I would probably remove these because well, I don't want its energy to, you know, spent in flowers. So I'll just remove that. Sorry if this makes you uncomfortable, but I usually do this in our garden, remove the flowers, because sometimes, you know, mealybugs thrive in them. And obviously in some varieties, flowers can kind of disrupt the shape of the plant. Let's repot this Sirius. So here we go, the Sirius in its own little pot. This is our 3rd succulent for this repotting session. This is called Echeveria Monroe. It doesn't have a lot of information, but from what I read, it has an unknown parents. So it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid, but I can't find any sources that shows who are the parents of this guy, poor Monroe. But if you notice, the characteristics are a very tight rosette. The tips will color pink to reddish, and some will even show orange colors. It has farina. The white spots that you see here, guys, are just the mancozeb that I spray just to protect them from fungus. And the center is just like gorgeous, very beautiful. All right, let's repot. Go our Monroe, but this time I put her in a 15 centimeter pot just because of its size. So this just sits nicely with its leaves not touching the brim of the pot. All right, our next succulent to repot is this Ebony. It's an agavoides. It's Echeveria agavoides Ebony. Obviously with the agavoides you have these pointy leaves, but the very main characteristic of this plant is the very prominent dark colored tips. Some would even get it like almost black already, because this one was not in a full sun. During summer you don't really see that thick colors, but you can see the tips there with this shade dark brown. I've seen some photos where even almost half of the leaves have the dark brown color. This is a very slow grower plant, and that's why they don't sell it cheap. Which I still don't know why they are selling it on that very ridiculous amount of money. But yes, we just added this one for the purpose of being in the collection, and so we have to pay the price. It's a slow grower, so it doesn't really bear a lot of pups, but when I bought this I made sure that I have a pup. So there we go, it's starting to grow. It is a very small baby when I bought it, but it is growing and thriving. So here you go guys, our ebony. I hope this will grow better in this condition. As you can see, these types of agavoides really love warm weather, because that's a growing season. So if you notice, when I got this back in summer, it has very healthy leaves around, but when it was exposed to winter it didn't really grow much. So you can see the difference here, one is bigger and one is smaller. So hopefully, for as we go now to spring towards summer, it will have that bigger rosette, and hopefully by then I can head chop and get more babies. You may not have that quantity of pups, so the only way to propagate is really to head chop them, because I think leaf propagation is also not that good for these ones. It's either you head chop or you harvest the babies, but the babies again guys are not common, so it's pretty lucky that I got one here. It takes time to grow babies, so yeah, head chop is the key. So we'll see, hopefully she'll enjoy the new home. Here we go, our ebony. All right, our last succulent for today's repot session is this, the cousin of ebony, under cultivar agavoides, a lipstick, or they call it red lipstick or just lipstick. So they sometimes people will confuse them with ebony, but the lipstick is, they have the bright green color. If you compare that to an ebony, which is a bit more like a grayish green, and the tips are red. For the lipstick, the ebony will get really dark red or maroon or even like chocolate color, but this one will just really get reddish. And the colors, because you know it just came from the cold season, the colors doesn't really cover the tips or the leaves of the edges and the tips of the leaf, but I've seen photos where the red is almost like a third of the leaf. So they love sun, so hopefully I'll get those colors when they're exposed and stressed under the sun. But again, same as ebony, they don't like extreme conditions, they don't like frost, they don't like heat wave. So protect them. And so let's repot. In terms of propagation, compared to ebony, lipstick can bear pups more than the ebony. So if you notice, guys, I have 1, 2, and 3 babies here already. So looking forward for those when they grow bigger, and then I can do a cutting, then repot. You can also get more if you head chop. Told you before, when we do repotting, try to clean, because again, when these dried leaves get moist, then it will be a haven for pests. So watch out for this stuff. So here it is, the lipstick, Echeveria lipstick, in its new home. I hope the babies are happy. Again, guys, when I repotted these, you really have to try to clean it. If you want to propagate leaf, you can try, but because they are super tight, kind of difficult. So to pluck it easily, maybe try not to water it for maybe a week or 2 weeks, because they're not plump, so it's easier to pluck. But if they're super plump, they'll just break. So here it is, lipstick. So guys, I'll just add in some extra pumice on top to give them kind of a separation from their soil, just so you know you have a kind of minimized contact between the leaves and the organic materials, because when it's too wet on the soil and too much exposure or contact with the leaves, it might, you know, result to root rot, or sorry, leaf rot. So let's just put that there on a side of caution. Putting in more pumice at the bottom. There you go. And today, a repotting session. Our ebony, our lipstick, our Monroe, and our 2 smaller pots, the Sirius and Jessop. So guys, if you know anything against Sirius, it seriously doesn't have any information over there. So if you have any information about Sirius, happy to know it. Drop a message or at least comment in our comments box. And so here are our pots for today's repotting session. This will be a series of repotting sessions, so I'm really excited to share with you guys what else I can find in our garden and do a repot, just because of the kick on the pumice soil mix. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. See ya, bye. Nawala.
Dito tayo para mas ano.